Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On Blues podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, and your number one source for daily Blues content. I'm Josh Hyman, and we've got a super fun episode today. The St. Louis Blues continue to not let adversity slow them down as they once again battled against a team man down, played the Detroit Red Wings with only 17 players, but came away with a 6-2 victory. Lots to cover in that game. Nathan Walker had a hat trick. Marco Scandella got a goal. Lots to talk about. I'm going to be getting into all of that. It's going to be a fun episode today. But first, I want to thank anyone and everyone out there who is making us your first listen. We like making these short, easy, bite-sized podcast episodes that way. You can have us on your morning commute to work, with your morning commute of coffee, your morning glass of coffee, cup of coffee. I am all over the place today. Final season for me. My brain's all scrambled. But yeah, anyone out there who makes us your first listen, we appreciate that. That's why we try to make these short episodes. But anyways, lots to talk about. First things first, I will get into chat. J-Tep says thoughts on the Coyotes getting locked into their arena. I did hear that got resolved, but the story was the Arizona Coyotes owed a couple $1 million in funds to the NHL, or to the city of I don't remember where they played, to their arena in rent, and basically got threatened if they didn't pay that, they would have had to get locked out and vacate, which is just such a Coyotes thing to happen. I did hear that they paid those debts, but one team that isn't in debt right now and isn't struggling too much is the St. Louis Blues. Now, they are struggling when it comes to injuries and COVID absences and all of that. As we saw last night against the Detroit Red Wings, they had their third-string goalie in net in Charlie Lindgren. They had a couple guys called up that hadn't seen a whole lot of NHL time. You know, obviously Dakota Joshua and Logan Brown are two of those guys that weren't basically planned on being with the roster as much as they are this season. And then another guy came up last minute is Nathan Walker. So a lot of names were in the Blues lineup last night that weren't expected to get as much ice time as they did for the St. Louis Blues, and not only have those guys sort of stepped up to the task and filled in their role well. Nathan Walker comes away with a hat trick last night, which I said during the game is just poetic justice for the St. Louis Blues season. A guy like Nathan Walker, career AHLer, he's 25 or 26 years old, only 25 career games, had 3 goals in his entire NHL career in like 5 years heading into tonight or last night, and then doubles his goal total in 2.5 periods. Poetic justice for the St. Louis Blues. Overall, just a really dominant game. And it's tough to pull that off when you're as handicapped as the Blues were. Sort of going into each goal, breaking it down. Nathan Walker had the first goal early on, just a great example of right place, right time for a guy, just sort of similar to all his other goals, just gritty, battling his way into a scoring opportunity. Firing the puck on net, snuck through Nedeljkovic there. Sure, that's one that would have had back, but Nathan Walker just throws a sneaky shot on net. Next thing you know, it's 1-0 Blues. Next up, Nathan Walker gets his second of the night off of a pass from Nico Mikkola, who is continuing to look like a really, really strong defenseman for the St. Louis Blues. Proving his worth with this team. As he has a great pass to Nathan Walker, who pots his second of the night on a wrist shot there late in the first period. Ryan O'Reilly getting an assist on that one as well. Just period for the Blues. Came out, obviously, man down. Lots to prove against Detroit, a team that has been on the up and up this year, a team that gave the Blues some trouble last time they played. Definitely, an opportunity for them to sort of establish their will in the St. Louis Blues, with them being a man down, with them having their third string goalie in net. That being said, the Blues did a really, really good job of establishing their style of hockey early. They didn't let the Red Wings get anything in that first period. They really just made it the way that they wanted to play, which is difficult when you just don't have a complete roster like that. Um, with that being said, moving into the second period, Robbie Fabry, uh, one of my favorite former Blues out there. I always love to see him score. It's a little bittersweet when it's against us, but gets his first of 2 goals of the night, 7th of the season, on a snapshot. Just beats Lindgren. Nothing you can really do about that. Great passing for the Red Wings. Great opportunity for Fabry. Makes it 2-1. But then the Blues really did a really good job of locking down for the rest of that second period. I think the second period was the strongest that the Red Wings had all night. Definitely put some pressure on the Blues and put some pressure on Lindgren. Lindgren did a really good job of standing tall and just keeping that a 1-goal game. Because if the Red Wings tie it up, we could have seen a very different result last night. Before the Blues were really able to capture momentum back. But that being said, late in the period, Blues are just establishing pressure, throwing everything they can on net. Puck sneaks by Nedeljkovic, and Colton Parayko finishes it up. Buries it right on the goal line there for Parayko. One of the easier goals that he'll have in his career. But again, Dakota Joshua and Nico Mikkola factoring into that goal. 2 guys that just continue to really impress and play above and beyond what we expected of them. Having an assist on that Parayko goal. It was a really strong game from both of them. A couple other guys as well that I'm going to get into in the second segment. J-Tep says in chat, Barbie had that one weird goal, but I thought Chen had an incredible game, giving up the body and creating opportunities. Absolutely. Braden Chen looked really, really strong out there. Kind of finally looks like he's fully healthy coming off of that injury. I know he wasn't 100% in those games coming back, and I know the Blues were asking a lot of him just with the injuries that they're facing. It was kind of a little bit of a rush getting Chen back in the lineup. I don't know if he's at 100% health yet. Maybe not, but you could definitely tell he's more comfortable out there. And the fact that he was, making those sacrifices, blocking shots, throwing hits, even if he's not fully healthy, shows, what he brings to this team and really just speaks to the Blues culture in general. That being said, do got a very interesting, exciting third period to talk about. So I'm going to be getting into that. And then I'm also going to be getting into the potential return to the St. Louis Blues lineup in their next game. So don't go anywhere. But first, I want to tell you guys about our good friends over at Built Bar. This holiday season, you can grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, or even better than a candy bar, Built Bar. Filled with so much holiday goodness, rich and decadent flavor, covered in chocolate, but amazingly low in calories, sugar, net carbs, and fat, and high in protein. You get the best of both worlds, delicious and healthy. So many flavors you'll have a hard time choosing. We have a raspberry or mint brownie, cherry or double chocolate, cookies and cream, or peanut butter brownie. Who knows? Built Bar gives you that extra fuel you need to bust down those mall doors and battle all the holiday shoppers. Or if you're just standing in endless shopping lines, Built Bar can give you that extra something to keep you going. So throw one in your jacket or purse. You never know when you're going to need it because it's the season of peace and love. Don't bring up your favorite Built Bar at family parties. People are passionate. It could get messy. You want to avoid that family drama. You want to cozy up with something warm? Well, here's a holiday secret. Dip your Built Bar into a piping hot cup of cocoa. It'll melt a little bit. It'll have your hot cocoa taste a little bit like a Built Bar. Plus, you'll have a nice, melty, delicious, chocolatey Built Bar to go with it. If you like some of those marshmallowy treats around the holidays, well, you need to get your hands on Built Bar Puffs. They're light, fluffy, and marshmallowy through and through. Different flavors, all covered in chocolate. Taste so good, you won't believe that they're filled with protein. So go to Built.com, use promo code BLOCKED15, and you'll get 15% off your order. Now, before we get back, I want to tell you guys about a new sponsor. That is Stance. Now, I'll be honest, when I first heard about Stance, like back when I was getting into basketball and all that, I thought it was a little bit of a gimmick. I thought it was just some overpriced, socks. What could be the big deal? But then recently I got my hands on some Stance socks, and I'll tell you what, I'm literally wearing them right now. They are so comfortable. They made a believer out of me. They're great, and it's not just socks. So founded in 2009, Stance Apparel represents a radical reinvention of socks, underwear, and active apparel with a sharp focus on comfort, quality, and creativity. Stance brings an atypical aesthetic alongside some of pop culture's hottest collaborations for the ultimate in style and self-expression, because everything you wear should be a direct extension of who you are and how you feel. Some of my favorite designs, I love the basketball designs. You got like some of your favorite players up the socks, but they also have Harry Potter. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I'm currently rewatching all the movies right now with my girlfriend, who gave me this mic, by the way. So anyone out here listening to the quality, thanks, Em. But yeah, I'm watching all those movies, and I love to just wear my favorite characters on some socks. It sounds silly, but they're comfortable, they're stylish, they look really cool. And Stance believes that the perfect fit matters more than fitting in, that those who feel good do good. Go see for yourself. Register for an account at stance.com. You'll get 15% off your first purchase. Use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout to apply. Enjoy the color and comfort of a less ordinary life with Stance. All right, getting back into today's episode. Oh, first of all, go into the chat. What Hogwarts houses are you guys? All right, so a little bit of a Harry Potter break because I have to indulge in that. We recently watched the fourth movie last night, one of my favorites. She did the Harry Potter test. My girlfriend, she got Hufflepuff, which honestly fits. She is super smart. Typical for her. And I've taken the test a bunch of times, and I try not to answer like I'm being a Gryffindor, but I've gotten Gryffindor every time I've taken the test. So I guess you could say I'm a Gryffindor. But yeah, I love the movies. I'm really enjoying watching them. And if you want to check out some Stan's Harry Potter socks, go to stans.com. But anyways, moving back into the St. Louis Blues. Lots to talk about from that third period overall. I do want to jump back because I did see in chat before Hart dropped when Jordan Kyrou went to the bench. Yeah, that was almost the worst incident of the entire season. I saw Jordan Kyrou get hit up here in the shoulder. Looked like he was in a lot of pain. My mind initially went to the worst of the worst. I was worried about, separated shoulder, broken collarbone, what have you. I was so surprised to see him get back on the bench with just the way that injury looked, the way that, shoulders and collarbones are so finicky. We've seen it from Vladimir Tarasenko. It's a lot easier to, separate or dislocate your shoulder than it looks. We've seen Tarasenko, go down with major shoulder injuries on what seems like pretty innocent hits. So that's why I was really worried, just like sort of a light tap on his shoulder, and to have him have that reaction that he had, I was seriously worried that there was a serious injury for Kyrou. So having him get back on that bench, I openly exclaimed, like, yes, thank God. All my friends looked at me like, what are you talking about? It's just a player on the bench. I'm like, you don't understand. You don't get it. That's Jordan Kyrou. So having him get back was great. And, he definitely had one of his least impactful games of the season last night. Maybe that was due to him, coming back from injury, still feeling a little bit sore. But that being said, in a game where you have so few forwards like that, and Jordan Kyrou is less impactful than he usually is, you don't expect to win 6-2. But then here the Blues come in the third period to just absolutely stack up the goals on the Detroit Red Wings. I just closed out of the NHL app, so I'm stalling until I can bring this back up. But yeah, it was a really strong third period. Blues came in up a goal or two, not necessarily put the game away just yet. An opportunity for Detroit to crawl back into it if they really wanted to. But who but Nathan Walker to get his third goal of the night on a tip-in? Marco Scandella, who had a pretty strong game, slides the puck across to Torrey Krug, who fires a one-timer on net, and then Nathan Walker with some beautiful hand-eye coordination to tip the puck past the goalie. Beautiful goal for him. You could love the reaction out of him. I love him going up to Torrey Krug, and you could see, like, in the replay, Torrey Krug like, did you get that? Was that a Hattrick goal? And Nathan was like, yeah, that was me. So it just really made me really happy to see that. Nathan Walker's always been one of my favorite players, just because he always works his butt off whenever he's up, and he's been a career AHL guy, so it's been great to see him get an opportunity like last night. And then my locked-on player of the game, Ivan Barbashev, gets the fifth goal of the night for the St. Louis Blues. Another little tip-in goal. Looked like he didn't even really know that he scored it. Great pass from Torrey Krug out front. Pavel Buchnevich setting it up. Continues to be one of the strongest players on the St. Louis Blues, but fires it out. Torrey Krug fires it out front to Ivan Barbashev, who pokes it past Nedeljkovic and looked like, oh, wait, did I get a goal? He wasn't even, too reactionary there, which is great. That's how you know the team is rolling. They're acting like they've been there before, acting like scoring goals is no big deal. And then who but Marco Scandella to score a 200-foot empty net goal to cap off one of the strongest wins of the season for the St. Louis Blues. Great goal there. Scandella had a pretty strong night, goal and assist for him. But yeah, overall, really strong win for the St. Louis Blues. continuing to play a man down, continuing to play with their third string goalie. A lot of challenges for the St. Louis Blues. A lot of opportunity for them to sort of just roll over and say, hey, we don't need to bring in our full effort tonight. We're playing the Detroit Red Wings and we're a man down. But not only do they come in with a full effort, they come in and dominate. A 6-2 victory over any team is really impressive, especially a team that has beaten you earlier in the season when you have a fully healthy roster. There's no reason to overlook the Red Wings anymore. And, maybe the Blues are a little bit guilty of that in their first game, and that's why they suffered the loss. But this game, they really played a really strong hockey game, especially considering the fact that, they were a man down. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse with that, but I'm still incredibly frustrated that the Blues are being handcuffed in this way. So it's great to see, them still have success, because when they're fully healthy, it's gonna do wonders for them to have this experience, to be able to look back on these games and say, we beat teams when we were multiple guys down, weren't even fielding a complete roster, so there's nothing we can't do. That being said, the Blues are looking like they're going to get a couple guys back, at least one. In tomorrow's game. I know Perron was skating today. I'm pretty sure Tyler Bozak was also skating today. And I know there was one other forward, but I don't have the tweet in front of me. Might have been a Luke Korak tweet there. But I know the Blues are potentially looking like they're getting back closer to full health in these next few games, which is going to be great. Jordan Binnington, I believe, is going to be returning potentially soon. Here we go. Here's the line. So David Perron is back in the lineup, looking like James Neal and Clem Costin were skating as well. So a couple guys coming back for the St. Louis Blues, definitely important there. But again, like I said, you can look back on these games and you can say, hey, we won games when we were this handicapped. So moving forward, as long as if they even get one guy back into the lineup, they'll be able to look back on these games and in a comparison and just say, hey, at least it wasn't as bad as that stretch when we had 17 guys in the roster. So that being said, I'm going to be talking about that, but I also posted a mailbag question on Twitter. I have a couple responses to that I'm going to get into. So I do want to get into that, but first, telling you guys about our good friends over at BetOnline. BetOnline.ag has you covered for all season for props, odds, and lines more than ever before. As football season continues to march to the playoffs, BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to their new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts, and I'll be right back. All right, so I got two responses to the mailbag question. I'm going to answer those back to back because they are both from Richard Clay. So, Richard Clay, thanks for your questions. First question he asked is, who do you think will get sent down once the team starts getting healthy? That's a tough question, and it's a little unfortunate that the call-ups have been playing as well as they have, because the truth is, when this Blues team is fully healthy, we're going to be seeing some of the guys that we've been really liking these past few games get sent down. The obvious candidates are Nathan Walker. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to stick around this season, even though he had a really strong game last night. I think he is, the first guy to go when the lineup starts getting healthier. And then you look at Dakota Joshua and Logan Brown are the other two I think are potential guys to get sent down. Both of which I think you could argue deserve a spot with this team. It's difficult though, just because they probably do deserve a spot with the way that they've been playing in the past few games, but with the amount of forwards that the Blues have when they're fully healthy with this forward depth, it might just not be possible for Logan Brown and Dakota Joshua to earn their way into the lineup. I wouldn't mind seeing a guy like James Neal get phased out of this lineup. I do think he brings something to this Blues team for sure, but I think I would rather see some of the younger guys in there. Logan Brown's a little bit more dynamic than James Neal, I think. And Dakota Joshua brings a little bit more defensively. It just depends on what Berube wants in terms of that veteran presence. But yeah, I would expect if we had to see more guys get sent down after Nathan Walker that it would unfortunately be Dakota Joshua first and then Logan Brown. As much as I think Logan Brown even more than Dakota Joshua deserves a spot, I think both of them do. But yeah, those would be my predictions for the guys that get sent down if and when that happens. Second question he asks is, do you think they'll leave Mikkola with Parayko? He looks much better with him over Scandella. Yeah, I love the Nico Mikkola and Colton Parayko pairing. First of all, two gigantic men out there. Parayko's 6'6", Mikkola is 6'5", I believe. Both of them are just huge. Mikkola might even be taller than that. Both of them are huge. Nightmare defensively for opponents, but also have looked really, really strong offensively. We saw Mikkola get 1 or 2 assists last night. Parayko got himself a goal, second of the season. And even Scandella looked a little bit stronger as well, not playing with Colt Parayko. And I think that might go towards what I was saying a little bit earlier, that Marco Scandella isn't necessarily the worst defenseman or the worst player on this team. It's just that he was being asked to play outside of his comfort zone. He was being asked to play pretty much first pairing minutes with a guy like Colton Parayko. So, facing guys like Nathan McKinnon and first-line guys was going to make Marco Scandella look maybe a little bit worse than he was. And he's still turnover prone. We're still seeing that out of him, making him, watching him throw some really questionable passes. That's unfortunately never really going to go away with him. But the fact of the matter is, it's a lot nicer to have him throw those passes to third line or fourth line guys than first line guys. A little bit more room for error if you're Marco Scandella and you're on the third pairing versus the first pairing. So, I think all in all, the Mikkola Parayko pairing has done wonders for not just those two, but Marco Scandella as well. He had a strong game last night. Another guy that's been playing really, really strong lately is Robert Portuzo, just been a defensive workhorse for the Blues. You go back to that penalty kill a couple games ago where he didn't have a stick and was out there for like 2 straight minutes, just denying opportunities left and right. He's been an absolute workhorse for the St. Louis Blues, and I was very critical of him last season and in the offseason of why the heck are the Blues still, having Robert Portuzo on their roster. But especially in games where you're undermanned and shorthanded, it shows that having a guy like Portuzo can be so important and so just like underrated for the St. Louis Blues. Obviously, he's not putting up stats. He's not getting points, but block shots, hits, just being in the right place, right time defensively has been so huge. I've liked what I've seen out of the Blues defense over the stretch of games. I think the lack of forward depth has sort of forced the defense to sort of right the ship a little bit more, especially considering you don't have a guy like Jordan Binnington to lean back on, and now you don't even have a guy like Billy Husso to lean back on. You're forced to play a little bit tighter in front of your third string goalie, and I think it's done wonders for the Blues defensive scheme. I think last night might have been one of the strongest games they've played all season defensively. Gave up a breakaway goal to Robbie Fabry and then another goal to Robbie Fabry off of a beautiful pass. But then other than that, you got a guy like Charlie Lindgren in net, you expect the game to be a little bit more high scoring, and not that he didn't play great, because he did. But I think more of the thanks goes to the Blues defense for just playing a really strong scheme game and preventing a lot of high danger scoring opportunities against the Detroit Red Wings. That being said, the Blues do have some tough games moving forward. It's nothing like the stretch they had before. They are playing the Montreal Canadiens next, a team that has really struggled this season. So an opportunity for them to potentially get some guys back, get a little bit more healthy, and beat up on them. But then the Anaheim Ducks are a team that I think is really sneaky. 15-8-5 this season, a lot of youth talent. Trevor Zegras obviously had that incredible lacrosse over the net assist the other night, just ridiculous. Sonny Milano's having a really strong season for them. Troy Terry has been really good for them. Really tough matchup there between the Blues and Anaheim Ducks, and you hope that the Blues are going to be a little bit more healthy for that. And then after that, they got the Dallas Stars, a divisional opponent, and the Central Division is very, very, very close right now, besides the Minnesota Wild up at the top. So a lot to look forward to for the St. Louis Blues. It's going to be a fun stretch of games, and honestly, I think I'm pretty optimistic considering the challenges that they've faced recently. Really feels like it's all downhill from here in terms of adversity. Knock on wood. You hope it doesn't get much worse than it was in the past 2 games. Playing man down, now playing with your third string goalie. But that being said, like I've repeated so many times, no matter what the Blues face this season in terms of adversity, having these few games of undermanned underoccupied rosters to just look back on and motivate you. It's going to be so huge for the Blues down the road, especially considering they played as well as they did. You come out, you win 6-2 when you have 17 skaters and your third string goalie in net is spectacular. Such a huge momentum point for the St. Louis Blues. So I'm looking forward to these next few games. I'm looking forward to seeing the health of the Blues improve, get some guys back in the lineup that we haven't seen in a few weeks, and then continuing to see production from our other favorites like Kyrou and all of them. So it's going to be a good time, and we'll have it covered for you here on the Locked On Blues podcast, but that is all the time we have for you today. So thanks, everybody, so much for listening. Make sure you hit that follow or subscribe button on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. That way you never miss a new upload. And thank you to everyone who is on YouTube in the chat. If you want to be like J-Tap and Abby Sherman and anyone else who is in the chat, you can subscribe to us on YouTube at Locked On Blues. Hit that notification bell. That way, whenever we go live, we try to go live pretty much 5 times a week with these 20-minute episodes. Hit that notification bell. That way, you'll get notified whenever we do go live, and you can join the chat like J-Tap and Abby and anyone else. We really appreciate that. It makes these episodes go by so much faster. There's so we can